Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music, and we're going to talk about a song by One Direction called Best Song Ever. And it starts out with a really cool intro lick actually around a D major chord. When we play D major, first finger is going to go to the G string on the second fret. Second finger goes to the high E string on the second fret. And the third finger goes to the B string on the third fret. And if you kind of strum just the D, G, B, and E, that sounds a D major chord. It sounds really, really happy. And there's this really cool almost arpeggio lick around a D and what would be called a D sus, where you take the pinky and kind of put it on the high E string on the third fret. And that's called D sus or D suspended. And what you would kind of do is start with the D sus and kind of go open D, G, high E, G, and then go to the D chord for kind of the high E, G, and then open D, and then second fret on the G. So it might be kind of a cool lick to kind of try and add for your intro. And then from there, our main riff actually that kind of lasts through the entire song actually comes in, where you could play like a low E string on the third fret for a G note, and then go to F sharp on the second fret on the low E, and then play open A. So it's kind of this big hit where you got G, F sharp, A. And if you wanted to, you could even move that by octave. You could play open G, and then F sharp on the D string, and then we'd be going to second fret on the G string. So same notes, different place, playing G, F sharp, A. What's really kind of going on there actually is kind of the G is supporting a G major chord. And then when you play G major, first finger is going to go to the A string on the second fret, second finger on the low E string on the third fret, and the third finger on the high E string on the third fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. And then the F sharp note that we're playing on the low E string is kind of supporting a D major chord. And actually, if you wanted to, you could even kind of put those together actually into something called D slash F sharp, or D major with an F sharp in the bass. So you can put first finger on the low E string on the second fret, second finger on the G string second, third finger on the high E on the second, and the pinky on the B string on the third. And you can strum all those together, that sounds like called D slash F sharp, or D with an F sharp in the bass. Another way to play that chord is to do D major and kind of take your thumb and go over the low E string on the second fret, so that feels better for you. You can use that. And then the open A is kind of supporting an A major chord. When we play A major, first finger is going to go to the D on the second fret, second finger is going to go to the G string on the second fret, and the third finger is going to go to the B string on the second fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds A major, it sounds really, really happy. So that's kind of our main riff actually, it's kind of that G, D, A, G, D, A. And on the intro, if you wanted it to sound really, really thick, you could add some things called power chords. And for the G, you could play a G5 power chord where you put first finger on the low E third, third finger on the D string on the fifth. And if you kind of strum just the E and the A strings, that sounds a G5 power chord. And then for the F sharp, actually, if you let your first finger just kind of go down one fret to the second fret on the low E, that's with the F sharp note. And you can even kind of put your pinky in there actually on the A string if that makes it easier. G5, and then this would be called a D slash F sharp too, because you're playing a D, but you got F sharp in the bass. And then from there, we could go to an A5 power chord, and you'd play A5 with kind of that G5 shape we started, but now on 5th and 7th. So you got low E on the 5th fret, and then A string on the 7th fret. So you could kind of play around with kind of that G, D slash F sharp, A, or, and this happens actually later on the D, if you wanted to do a D5 power chord, you take that shape that we're on and kind of go to the A string on the 5th fret, and then the D string on the 7th fret. And if you strum just the A and the D strings, then that sounds a D5 power chord. So you could do it that way too, G5, D5, A5, or you could work the G5, D slash F sharp, A5, or you could work it with the chords and have the D, or G, D, A, and kind of work it that way. So there are a lot of ways to kind of work that intro part. Now for myself though, a lot of times with a song like this, to make it more interesting and kind of support my voice if I'm going to sing it covering, I like to kind of add a consistent strum pattern. One of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, down, up. So we took the G and just tried that a lot. You have down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And the weird thing about applying that to kind of our verse and our chorus is sometimes that D chord creeps in. Now you could completely ignore it and just play just the G major chord and then go to the A major chord and use that for your form. And actually at different points in the tune actually it really does sound like it's just G and A major. So you really could cover the entire song actually with just this one pattern, G and the A with the down, down, up, down, up. However, it can sound very cool to get that D chord in there. And the D chord actually is kind of happening on the 4th beat actually, if we were counting that. It happens on that last down up. So we have the G with the down, down, up, and then we go to the D with the down up, and then we go to the A with the whole strum pattern. It's kind of another way to do it. And what you may want want to do with this, and actually all my videos actually, is kind of take what you're good at and put it together into how you're going to interpret the song, kind of find your own voice through the One Direction's tune. So we tried that way through the tune. We have G with the down, down, up, D with the down, up, A down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, D down, up, A down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, D down, up, A down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, D down, up, A down, down, up, down. There are a couple spots though where you may want to kind of just go to the A and do kind of a hit. And if you kind of do kind of a down and kind of kill it with your right hand, there are a couple stop time places through the tune where you gotta watch out for that. So you may have the G and then hit the A with kind of just a big down kill it kind of idea. Now something else I would think about adding to this song though is bass notes. And a lot of times on the first down of the down, down, up, down, you can throw in a bass for the chord. So on the D, you can do the D string for your bass. D bass, down, up, down, D with the D bass, down, up, down. On the G chord, you'd have the low E string for your bass. So this is to kind of simulate playing with a bass player. If you're covering a solo, this can be a good idea to kind of do that. And then on the A chord, you have the A string for your bass, down, up, down, up, A bass, down, up, down. So one way to incorporate that in is you could do the G with the bass, down, up, and then hit the D with the down, up, and then go to the A with the bass, down, up, down. So kind of taking that GDA idea and kind of applying the basses. So you got G with the bass, down, up, D down, up, A with an A bass, down, down, G with the E bass, down, up, D with the down, up, A with an A bass, down, down, G with the E bass, down, up, D with the down, up, A with an A bass, down, down, up. Now if you wanted to, you could completely ignore the D, and then you have G with the low E bass, down, down, up, A with an A bass, down, down, G with the low E bass, down, down, up, A with an A bass, down, down, G with the low E bass, down, down, A with an A bass, down, down. So that would be another way to kind of play through the tune. Now for myself, actually what feels really, really good is to work off of something called a 16th note drum pattern. So now I'm kind of following the drums a little bit more than the actual guitar parts. But what I mean by that is if you're tapping your foot to the beat, right now we're kind of dividing that into two parts with our down, down, up, down. And that's called an 8th note. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But what a 16th note is where you divide that foot tap into 4 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I think could be a lot of fun and slightly challenging to play with this song is one of my favorite 16th note drum patterns, which is a long down, 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 up, down, down, down. And what I mean by that is if you take the G and do it down for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you're doing on the first beat. And on the second beat, you're doing a down on 1, a down on 3, and an up on 4. So you're going down, down, up, down, down, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the third beat, you're doing an up on 2, down on 3. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 up, down, 1 up, down, 1 up, down, 1 up, down, 1 up, down. And then on the last beat, you're going down, up, right along with 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So all together, you got long down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So one way you can kind of apply that is just doing just the G and the A, and then you have to do the down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, A, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, G, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, A, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, G, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, A, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, G, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, A, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. If you're digging on the basses though, you could still throw in your bass on your first down. Or I really like bass down, down, up, bass down, down. And then you have G with bass. Down, down, up, bass, down, down, we have an A bass. Down, down, up, bass, down, down, G with a bass. Down, down, up, bass, down, down, we have an A bass. Down, down, bass, down, down, G with a bass. Down, down, up, bass, down, down, we have an A bass. Down, down, up, bass, down, down, G with a bass. Down, down, up, bass, down, down, we have an A bass. Down, down, up, bass, down, down. Now if you want to get in that D chord still though, it would kind of happen on that last down, up, with the down, 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 up, down, down, down. So you could take the G with kind of a down, 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 up, down, and then hit the D with the down, up, and then hit your A with the whole strum pattern. Down, 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 up, down, to the down, 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 D, down, here with the down, 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 to the down, down, D, down, here with the A, down, down, to the down, down, D, down, here with the down, 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 So if you wanted to, you could kind of throw in that D chord too, and then you have to do the bass. Down, down, up, bass, D, down, up, down, A with A bass. Down, down, up, bass, down, up, down, G with A bass. Down, down, up, bass, D, down, up, down, A with A bass. Down, down, up, bass, down, up, down, G with A bass. Down, down, up, bass, D, down, up, down, A with A bass. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, G with A bass. Down, down, up, down, D, down, up, down, A bass. Down, down, up, bass, down, up, down. So you may want to kind of play around with that. Now later on, actually, at the very, very end, actually, there's this cool little lead guitar part that kind of comes in too, where you could play 10th on the high E, and then 9th on the high E, and then 7th on the high E, and then we go to 10th on the B string, or you could do that as kind of a slide down to 5th on the high E. So you could do it all on the high E. 10, 9, 7, 5. So you may want to kind of think about adding that in too. That could be kind of a cool thing to kind of break from it. Kind of a cool thing to kind of put that together too. And then basically we just repeat that one thing kind of all the way through the tune. And I think for myself, actually, the very end, I want to hear a big D major instead of a fade at the very, very end. But that's the basics of how you could strum through Best Song Ever by One Direction. So good luck!